Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the second season of Masterclass. I'm John Tenalia. Today, we have a fine young tenor, Marcus Smith. His panelists are Maestra Lisa Herrera de Cava, John Packard, John Horton Merrick. Please sit back and enjoy the live singing.
Con le rose sue dita carezzare fiori lo stuor commossa un fremito arcano intorno creato già par ed uno di desieri nuovo viso qui dolente a cantare. Anche tu la veste bianca e schiudi l'uscio al tuo cantare non sei la luce manca come tu sei nasce
Bravo, bravo. Okay. Very nice. Very, very nice, actually. Okay, I'm going to put everybody in gallery, and let's start with, to my right, which would be the great John Packard.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. Okay, Marcus, lovely. Really, really. Great smile, first of all. Thank you. So few singers actually smile in between phrases, and that really does lighten the atmosphere. It was really, really terrific. I feel like you aren't using your body in your sound. It gets a little stuck right around the nose. And if you were just to take a moment to just feel the breath and relaxation, just go back into your back a little bit more. Okay. Everything else just kind of relaxes after that. You know what? If you could just start it with that feeling of a little bit lower and keep everything the same. I just want to see if it opens up. Okay. That the palate also will rise when you do that as well. Let's just try it.
L'aurora di bianco vestita, già l'uscio rischiude a gran sole, di già con le rose sue dita, carezzare fiori lo suor.
Okay. I feel like it started a little more open and then it got, I hate to say the word, but it's safe. You know what I mean? Yeah, it starts to get into a smaller space. And I think that your voice is a lot larger than you think it is. And that doesn't mean you have to make it big. It's just that open your body a little bit more. And I can't really tell from the shirt you're wearing, but I don't feel like you're expanding your rib cage. And can John weigh in on this too? John Murray?
Go ahead, Murray. Jump in.
Because you understand what I'm talking about.
Yes, I totally agree. Your coordination of your support and placement and the ease that you have is already great. And so we're just trying to give you a little more that there's still more expansion and more, as he was, especially as he was saying for high notes, more in the back. And it really just is that strange thing about letting the, getting more support is it feels like letting go. It doesn't feel like, okay, I'm giving more force. Ah! No, it's not that. It's funny. It's just this funny thing where you let go even more for the high note. So the diaphragm, literally, the way we use it now to breathe, we only use the front. If you look at babies, they go like this.
Right.
So they use the whole thing. So basically, we're just saying, be a baby and use the whole diaphragm. But of course, because you're not used to doing that, you're in the habit of only using the front, like everybody, right? Every adult. So we're telling you, and for example, you can feel it this way, like, do a thing like if you are going to blow out a candle that's 10 feet away, go, like that. Just use the whole diaphragm.
You're like sitting in more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we're holding the back of the diaphragm so tight, when we use it, it feels like letting go. And we only use it for a few, like coughing and sneezing and those things. We still use the whole diaphragm, but for singing, we don't for some reason. So we're just encouraging, use that whole back part of the diaphragm, relax into it more. But otherwise, everything is in very good coordination already. So bravo.
I agree. Okay, can we go to? Sorry. Go ahead, John.
You know about diphthongs and solo consonants, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Italian, there's only diphthongs if there are two vowels, right? So what the first giveaway for any non-Italian is if you make a diphthong out of a vowel that isn't one.
A.
So exactly. That's what I heard. Instead of going a and you went a. Where's that e? If it's in Italian, if it's not written at I, it's not there. So in English, almost every word is diphthongs, but in Italian, be sure only do the diphthongs. Don't do the other ones as diphthongs.
Great. Thanks for stealing my thunder, Mary. But okay. Can we go to Lisa, please?
Hi, Marcus.
Hi.
It's nice to meet you.
You too. Thank you.
That was so nice. Unfortunately, someone, I don't know who, told me this was going to be the Mattinata by Tosti.
That's my fault. I apologize.
Ah, that was you. Okay.
That's it.
So I was all no, it's okay. I was all pumped. I was like, oh, good, this is a new song for me, and I was all ready with the music, and I was like, oh, shoot.
That's it. Blame the fat guy. Sure, blame the fat guy.
It's all your fault, Johnson.
You know what?
It's okay though.
Ideal, but I appreciate it.
I love Ideale. That's a great song. Okay, so really nice work. I like going last because I can, suck off of everything that was said already. I do have a couple questions for you, Marcus. Have you ever sung baritone?
Yes.
You started as a baritone?
Yes.
And do you now continue to sing things that are a little bit lower?
No.
Okay, so you just sing in tenor stuff now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm not surprised actually to hear that you started as a baritone, because I am presently in my life working with a couple of people that were baritones and now are singing tenor. And I'm a coach, by the way. I don't know if anybody ever told you. I'm not a voice teacher. So if I say anything, guys, that is like really stupid, you can just shut me up. But I would like to see if you can think about, in addition to all the other really great advice you just got from the other gentleman, if you could can you just think more like a tenor when you start? Like, I think this has to do kind of with, I don't like to get into voice, stuff about voice technique, but it's kind of about thinking that everything might be on a higher plane and then it just sort of stays up there. Because what I really enjoyed, your high notes quite a bit. They're really, really quite lovely. But I agree that there's some work to be done with continuing to work on consistent support that you got from the gentleman, my colleagues. But I feel like the lovely, really quite lovely tenor sound you get on the top doesn't quite match what's below it, which I think has to do with what both John Packard and John Maurice said, and trying to think a little bit more like you're starting in a place like a tenor. Does that make any sense at all to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please do, John.
as a guy who sang as a baritone for many years.
Okay.
The problem is that to sound like a baritone, you had to color your voice. So instead of just singing, I'll just make some baritones don't, instead of singing, "Di Provenza il mare," so, oh, that's not baritone. So you go, "Di Provenza il mare," and you color your voice to sound baritonal. Now, make sure you're not doing any of that. Just don't let any tension happen in here to color your voice. In the lower register, like in the top, as we used to always joke, you can't sing high notes incorrectly because they're not there if you do. But the bottom, you can sing incorrectly. So when you're in that comfortable mid-range, make sure you're not doing that coloration that you do when people will tell you, oh, as a baritone, you should sound darker. Don't try to sound darker.
So, John, are you talking
your own voice? Yeah.
Are you talking, John, about tenors that used to sing baritone and that because they weren't really baritones, they had to sort of color the voice?
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean,
Got it,
many
got
tenors in high school are never taught as tenors because their voice is too big for the tenors, because the tenors sing like falsetto. So all of us tenors are pushed down into the bass part in chorus and go, well, what am I doing here? So it took us years to realize that, oh, that's not my voice.
Yeah, I sang alto for years because I could sight read.
Oh, and altos, if sopranos have a dramatic voice, they put them in the alto section.
Yeah, I was there because I could sight read.
Yeah, exactly. So now what I'm talking about is the fact that to sing baritone, you used to color your voice, because I know I did it too.
Yeah.
So just make sure that's the natural sound, that loose, like nothing. Don't put any coloration onto it.
All right. Thank you, John. That was really helpful. Marcus, do you speak Italian? Un po'. Okay, that's good. That's good. And I assume you've studied it, or you've studied the diction and all of that?
Zoom is frozen. Are you still there?
Yeah, I am still there. Are you still there?
I am still there. It's just
okay.
Everybody's frozen. Go ahead.
All right, but you can hear me talking, so. So I agree with, I don't remember who said it. I think it was Mr. Murray. Mr. Horton Murray spoke about your Italian vowels. I just think overall you want to keep working on getting a lot of legato into that Italian, and that will be assisted by all of the other advice you got from my esteemed colleagues. Overall, I thought it was really very lovely, and I actually really like this mattinata too. So thank you for singing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, a couple of questions for me. What are you thinking about? Who are you singing this to?
I'm singing this to you guys. I mean, everybody probably has had a tough year this past year.
Oh.
And I chose this song in the past couple of weeks because I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I chose this song because it brings sunshine and joy to my life and the people that I sing it to. So that's why I chose it.
Okay. Now, what in the text itself, who are you singing to?
It doesn't quite make clear
Okay.
who I'm singing to.
All right.
But it does say I'm singing to somebody, not to myself. So I infer that it's more than one person.
Okay. My only suggestion to you is, when you're getting ready to, we used to listen. I had a career of singing what my brother and I would jokingly call Dago ditties. Okay. Now, in this realm, you have to be so suave and so external that it's just heartfelt emotion over and over. It just exudes emotion. My suggestion to you is, before you start singing this, when you take your first breath in, make sure that it's on the vowel that you're going to sing. Because what happens is, I noticed when you took your breath, you took the breath in and then you took a secondary breath to reset to sing. So what I would recommend doing is to take the breath on the vowel that so it goes in and comes completely out. It's not so much work that way, and what happens is that the natural part of your voice will really be represented in its best light. I think that's a simple fix that's not so simple, because we have to, in our thinking, the way that we breathe. But my suggestion, especially in Italian music, because everything is so open, just take the breath on the vowel that you're going to start with, so that you're free to go. Now, with that being said, what are you doing? Tell me. I know with COVID everything's closed. What are your plans in the future? What do you have? Do you have anything going on?
In the future, I plan to go to Italy.
Good for you.
Over New Year's and perform at a concert there, and possibly again during the summer.
Excellent.
Hopefully, COVID aside.
Good. And what are you doing on this concert?
That I'm not sure. It's to be
Okay.
determined.
To be determined. Okay, great. And are you? I'm assuming that you are still studying, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I know who, and I'm not going to say, because Gail, I love her dearly, and John's behind you. So you have a wonderful team behind you. That's for damn sure. So, what do you have for us next?
I have Questa o Quella.
Mm-hmm.
Or E la solita storia del pastore.
Okay, can we unmute for a second, because we'll take a vote? Let me ask you this, Marcus. What do you have the most connection with? Which aria?
Probably both of them. I picked them easily. I think, here's
Okay.
the thing. I did a king's role before this master class, and I kind of identify with that kingly, dukely, don't give a damn role.
Okay.
And I think it's great to play with.
Okay. Does anybody have any objection to that? Okay. Let's hear the rigatoni.
I'd like to hear both of them, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Questa quella per me pari sono a quant'altre d'intorno mi vedo, nel mio cuore l'impero non c'è, veglia luna chiaro trabottà, la costoro avvenenza i quarono, ti che fa con i fiori la vita. So di questo mi torno gradita, fosse un'altra, non me lo sarà, un'altra, forse un'altra, non me lo sarà. La costanza di rendere il cuore ne desiamo, come rabo, come crudele, son chi vuole si serve bene, non amor non ho, se non v'è libertà, nei mariti geloso furore, e gli amanti ne smanie, nerino, a andare con chi c'è chi risfiro, se mi punge, una qua che mi dà. Se mi punge, una qualche battaglia.
Bravo again. Okay, we're going to go in reverse order, and we're going to start with Maestra Lisa. Haha.
There we go. I'm a mess today. Good job. I love this little aria. Not such a little aria, right? Good, good. So actually, I have a lot more nerdy coachy things this time, because I'm a nerdy coach. But overall though, and I'm hoping to get some of the other panelists to concur with this. I sort of hear that same thing in this that I heard in the first one, just as a vocal thing, that a lot of this sits, kind of high, but then as you come back down into the middle, I get kind of a changing the color of your sound. So that's not something I know how to fix at all. That's why I'm going to leave it to my colleagues. but I am still hearing sort of an inconsistency in sound. The other things, overall, it was very good. Okay, just be clear. I'm just really super picky over here. And I do have a great smile. I really enjoyed that too. I think you need to be a little bit more careful with your Italian in this piece. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is one of my pet peeves as a coach in Italian. It was when you said la costoro avvenenzae qual dono, right? You know where I'm talking about in the first verse. Okay, so it's, hold on a second, I got it. La costoro, roa is on the higher note together. Look at your score, okay? And it is not, I'm not sure I'm going to do exactly what you did, but I kind of got something like la costoro, and that is completely incorrect. It's la costoro, okay? So that's a really super picky diction thing that drives me bananas, but you can totally fix. It's very, very easy to fix. Okay. That's the only one I actually wrote down. Just look through the entire score when you have two vowels on the same note. They both need to be on that note and don't be composing on me. All right, the end of the first verse, I thought was a little bit muscled, but that's a technique thing that my colleagues will probably talk about if they want to. You have the beginning of the second verse, another really picky diction thing. La costanza, da da da, la costanza. It's so easy to do la costanza, and that's kind of what you did. I want you to think la costanza, tiranna. Most of the double consonants I thought were pretty well done, but just be careful because you have to say nza, and it's fast. So give me a lot more vowel. La costanza, tiranna, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure I'm in the wrong key by this time. There's another thing. It's non ve'amor. And not non va amor, because you say non ve amor, say non va libertà. Ve va. Make sure that there are two different sounds. At least that's what my score says. And I have the fancy ass Rigoletto.
All right.
I think this is the David Lawton corrected David Lawton version. Let me see if it says. I love him. Oh no, it's somebody else actually, but it's the Chicago Press, the new, really excuse to make you buy a more expensive score one.
Maybe I should, because I don't have that one.
Well, if you're going to sing a lot of if you're going to sing Italian rap, like Italian rap written by Italian composers, I really like the Ricordi scores. Mm-hmm. I think I would actually love to hear what my colleagues have to say about this. For Mozart, I really like the Barenreiter, except as a pianist, they suck for pianists. They're excellent. And sometimes, all scores have sometimes got mistakes in them. And overall, Ricordi's good for Puccini and Verdi. Barenreiter is excellent for Mozart. I don't know if you're probably ever going to sing Wagner, but either Schott or Peters are really excellent for that. But I'm sure you've all noticed I never said the S word. So I don't recommend those. If you really need to know what I'm talking about, you can ask me privately.
Oh no, sure. Oh no.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking
All right. So actually, I didn't have a whole lot except some little picky diction things, because I would like to leave it to my colleagues to discuss the other things that they would like to talk about. But very nice job. So lovely to hear you and to meet you. And your pianist is very lovely and excellent.
Yes, Maestro John he's
excellent.
He's wonderful. Yes.
Really beautiful.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, can we go to John Horton Murray, please?
Okay, this role of the Duke is incredibly difficult. So if anybody offers to you right now, don't do it, because it's crazy difficult. There are 100 other Italian operas that are easier, so don't get, I wouldn't sing this, because then people say, oh, you sing the Duke? Because they're always looking for somebody who will try it. It's so hard. Have you ever even seen the cabaletta of the aria of the Parmi? They never even sing the cabaletta because it's so hard, in Rigoletto. in any case, I'm just warning you about this role. It's like the killer for the lyric tenors. But in any case, all other roles, Nemorino, every other Verdi role, most other Verdi roles are probably great for you, Traviata, whatever. The other thing I would say is that in this aria, in the Italian tradition, once the orchestra stops, you're in control. So don't think like, I got the music stopped, I have to sing the high note. No, none of that. None of that. Music stopped. Get yourself ready. If you need a coffee break, whatever. As put a pause there, a fermata or whatever it is in the orchestra. I'm kind of making a joke out of it because all younger singers think, I have to be right with the music because they're so used to being in choruses where you have to be together. Well, now it's a solo. So you do what you have to do to sound good. Okay? So if you've just sung an end of phrase, then and the music stops, take a nice low breath. That's the way Pavarotti does it. He takes all kind of time all over the place before he sings note. That's the right way to do it. You want to sound good. Okay? So that's my one thing. Don't in the score think that everything's with a metronome. No. You do what you have to do to sound good coming in on that high A flat, right? Okay, do you understand what I'm talking about? If you have to take take a longer breath, then do that. There's no time limit here. Like we're not going, oh no, the aria's got to be over already. No, we only care if you sound good. Okay, so take your time on those big high note entrances to set your body up for it. Okay. The other thing is, I totally agree with Lisa that you only get scores from Ricordi. You know why? Because in the stupid other scores by Schirmer, you have the Italian, but then the English right under it. It's so close, it's hard to see both, and then there's extra notes written in for the English and all that stuff. So only get scores that only have Italian in them.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for. Sorry to interrupt, but it has to be an all Italian score. I have a Bohème that is English on the top and Italian on the bottom in italics. It's a freaking nightmare. An all Italian score. That's it.
I mean, and they're not that much more expensive than the Schirmer. Get the Ricordi, any score. There's other publishers in Italy. Get the score. And I was going to tell you, Lisa, I met the guy who did that Chicago edition. That's Philip Gossett.
Yes, it is.
When I was way back when I was in the Opera Center in Chicago, he was there. He was working on all the scores. He had been to Italy, and in Falstaff, I remember he told me he found like 200 mistakes, but they're mainly staccatos that are missing in the orchestra or something like that. It wasn't always, notes in the vocal part, but he did find a lot of dynamics that were missing and stuff like that. So if you have a choice to buy a score, if you're going to do the role, buy that Chicago Press, Philip Gossett, that one.
Yeah, actually, that's not who it says in here, but he probably did some of the other ones.
Well, he was the guy in Chicago that was doing it back in the 80s.
Okay.
Okay, so I only want to say one more thing. That place that you have for the upper registers, bring it down into the middle. Don't go and then no. Bring that nice clean sound. Bring that down to the A flat below it. Questa quella. Instead of sounding like a baritone. Questa quella. That's manufactured. You're adding all kind of tensions and stuff. You don't want that. That nice clean sound you have up there, swing it all the way down into your middle register and sing like that. Okay?
Thank you, John. Okay, can we go to John Packard, please?
I think one of the hardest things that this COVID thing has done and the most damaging is that all of us are getting used to being in a room singing, and this is not a room piece. This is a piece where you're going to be on a large stage and you're going to be a mile away from the conductor, and you need to be in earlier than you've been doing in the studio. You have to get used to that, so that it's a dump, the dump, the dump, the dump, questa quella, da, di, di, da. You got to be ahead the whole time. And then when you get to the big moments, you can go, you don't have to go, oh my God, I got to be in time. The conductor will follow you. Really, this is one piece where it's a boom chum kind of piece. So it's it's up to you to keep it moving, and it's also part of your character.
The conductor is happy if he found somebody that can sing this role.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. The other thing is, have you ever heard the concept of drinking in the sound?
Yes.
Does it make any sense to you?
No.
No, because
I didn't really visit that concept as much, but
you're kind of doing it right now. It's as you're speaking like this. You're not going da 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 da. You're going ah da 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 da. That's really the feeling, and it's what they call the open throat sound, and it's not forcing your throat open. It's just this feeling, almost like a fountain. That's what I feel like. It's like your voice is on a fountain, or you're feeling like you're always expanding. And you can't just expand here. You expand back here. This is something for you to try out on your own and record yourself. And I know it's horrible to listen to yourself. And then do you have somebody who in your household who can be picky and you don't mind it?
in my household, no.
Yeah.
But,
no. Do you have a good friend?
I have good teachers and friends that will whip me into shape. So,
Okay. Teachers is good, but they cost money. I'm just thinking of somebody who.
When I was 355 pounds. So
You were
now
355 pounds?
That's probably why you can't see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations! Wow,
That's
great.
incredible. That's really incredible. George Hogan should hear that.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Well, you know that feeling that you had when you were heavy,
Yes.
that you didn't have to work? You have to work harder to expand. And once you work for a while expanding, it becomes natural. Mm-hmm. You don't have to work so hard anymore. But right now you have to actually feel, got to drop, and now I can sing.
Okay.
It's a piece of the puzzle. One more piece, until finally it's all there. And what John Murray said about bringing the top down, go ahead and do some exercises where you start out, you have a great top, and just leave it the same and let it go down, 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 and that's your sound.
Can I ask a
It's
question?
the easiest top I've heard in a long time. It's and it will start to develop even more color without you having to color it.
Go ahead. You had a question? Go ahead, Marcus.
No, he actually answered the question.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next.
Thank you, John. Okay. Marcus, okay, my thing, I'm going to do, if you don't mind, do a little exercise with you. If you could, we're going to start the aria again. We do a little trick, okay? If you hold your nose closed, okay, and envision all the space behind your nose and actually articulate the vowels so that they're consistent and right behind so that it doesn't sound like you're holding your nose closed. Would you try that for me in the beginning of the aria, please?
Questa quella per me sono acqua tre ritorno mi vedo che il mio cuore l'impero c'era veglia luna che arrotra.
Good. Okay. Now, I know it's difficult to breathe because you have your nose closed. But now, what I just noticed, when you held your nose closed, you didn't exhale the old breath. You took a breath on top of the hiked breath. Okay? So if you do that again, let's try it one more time. And it was much better, to be honest with you, I think, in my opinion. Try it again, okay? And once you're you're through the phrase and you're done with the air, get rid of it. Okay, exhale, because it's not like money in the bank. You're not going to get, well, you can't get interest now on it anyway because of everything else, but it's not money in the bank. You can't get interest on it. Get rid of it and start with a nice, clean, refreshing breath. Okay, can we try it one more time? And if you have to stop to get rid of the air, stop.
Okay.
Okay?
Questa quella per me per il sono a quant'altre di torno vivero, che il mio cuore l'inferno non c'è, nella luna che rota in beltà.
Excellent. That's a great job. I don't know if anybody agrees with that. I think that what it does is, and it also forces you to keep the vowels together, because what the main thing in the beginning of the ARP, he's smooth. He's smoother than, slipping on shit. He really, he's got to have. Yeah, I know. I can I tell you, I'm very graphic and I'm not politically correct at all. But anyway, it is. It's just that the vowels have to align, and the consonants really aren't as hard as everybody makes them. Yes, they are somewhat forward and at times, but don't let the consonants interrupt the sound, because it's one stream of air, one stream of sound. And I can hear what this is going to be like in your voice, and it's throwing. I could tell by now, because you see the hair that stands up on my arm. That's how I know it's right. Okay, and yeah, you have a remarkable voice. I wish you all the luck. And can I ask you how you lost your weight?
Well, since the hospital visits, Gail has been on me.
Good.
So,
Good.
yeah, I've changed my diet. I've cut out fats, sugars, and salts. I've been walking an hour a day. I've been doing Tai Chi in the morning, trying to get more familiar with my body as it's changing. So, thank you, John Packard, for identifying that. And thank you for, allowing me to be more conscious about how things are feeling as things are, as I'm slimming down.
Yeah. Yeah, well, from a person who's, I still have from size 38 to 62 in my closet. So, yes, I know what that is, and I know what it is, what a struggle that is to do that. But, these days, because, listen, I'm on the ass end of my career, so, especially being a tenor, you want to be looked at, not saying that you should have to be emaciated, but you have to look. HD is very revealing, put it that way. They could see the wrinkles everywhere, the no hair. So you're a handsome guy to begin with. You sing with you have a wonderful, magnificent instrument. And the only thing that I can say that we haven't done is that I would love to hear you in an entire role. I would pay money to come and hear you sing. I really think that and I can't wait to hear your future success. Now I'm going to open it up to the gallery, and if anybody has anything else they would like to.
I think Lisa and I want to hear the third aria. It's quite different, not a little bit more line.
Do we have time?
Listen, I'll make time. Sure,
All right,
why not?
And Marcus, are you okay with singing it?
Sure.
I would love to hear.
Lovely.
I love the Federico.
Yeah, please.
Federico. Hold on, I got to get the music.
I'll tell you, John, that's a sexy leg there. It reminds me of lunch.
Oh God, I am muting.
Oh, good. La solita storia del bastone. Il povero ragazzo voleva raccontarla. S'addormì. C'è nel sonno l'oblio, come il virio. anch'io vorrei dormir così, nel sonno almen l'oblio trovar, la pace son cercano io, vorrei poter tutto scordar. Ma ogni sforzo è vero, davanti ho sempre di lei. Innocesa mia, la pace tolta sembra perché leggi io tanto penar. Lei sempre lei dinanzi a me, fatale visione mi lascia. Mi vai dando
Bravo. Okay. Very, very nice. Okay, let me take you out and go to gallery. Let's go to John Packard, please.
Bravo. I always as the warm up for Tosca, right? Even the way it begins. E lucevan le stelle, e la storia, da 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 da. And you notice, I don't think there is anything above mezzo forte for like the first 20 phrases, right? Almost the entire thing is a feeling of piano. And can you give me an idea why you think it's that way?
Because he's telling a story, and
Yeah.
usually you don't make a declamatory statement about I'm telling a story,
Right, but
you also he's a sad. He's foreshadowing what the story is beholding, so he's a little softer, a little containing those emotions at this point in time.
right. A little more parlando in the beginning. You don't need to sing until later. Just say è la solita. Start there. Just almost like the beginning of E lucevano le stelle. The same kind of feeling. Can you just do that?
È la solita storia del pastore.
Okay, even less. So just speak the words to me.
È la solita storia del pastore.
That's closer. And that's enough. That's enough sound. Absolutely. I had the pleasure of being on a concert with a tenor who he knew it was his last performance, and he was actually dead in 4 months after that. He sang this entire thing until he got to È sempre a me, just almost a whisper, and he pulled everybody in, and it was in a big theater, and then he let it go. So I just want you to you have to experiment with those high notes, to find a way to sing those high notes with I don't know if John, if you agree with this, but like more ooh in the sound, so that it is a little less this, but has a lot of height. You have that depth, has that height, and it's a sweeter sound, not so desperate. And then the desperate, which was fantastic. I don't know if my sound cut out a couple of times. Did it do it
Yes.
for everybody?
Yeah, it did, John. Say that one more
Okay.
time, please. The last sentence.
So desperate.
Yeah, not so desperate until that last B flat.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So don't give away the goods until the last beat.
Well, right. It's a whole roll. It's not just one little aria. But you'll be surprised how singing softly and parlando and it's easier to have colors in the voice when you are singing parlando, and how that just pulls people in.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, John. Okay, can we go to Miss Lisa?
Nice. I love this aria. Who's he talking about?
Who is he talking about?
Hmm.
He is well, initially, he's talking. Well, the story goes back to a goat fight, actually. And
Just
then
tell me
it's-
who he's. You don't have to give me all that. Just tell me who he's
Okay.
talking about. Who says the last line before he starts this?
He's talking about the one who betrayed him.
Who says the last line before he sings this?
I don't know.
Okay, you need to find
I
out.
don't have that.
Dee,
Okay.
dee, dee, dee,
No, it's okay. It's not Jeopardy.
Well,
So I'm just going to tell you,
okay.
because I looked it up. I didn't know until the other day. So full confession here.
Okay.
I've always known this as just this piece and just this gorgeous piece, but it's his brother speaks the last line. His brother is a little bit, I believe, sort of simple-minded, and he's a shepherd, and I forget exactly what he says, but he makes some statement and he doesn't finish it. There's a ... and then you say, "E la solita storia del pastore," and the whole, "Il povero ragazzo voleva raccontarla e s'addormì. C'è nel sonno l'oblio, come l'invidio. Anch'io vorrei dormir così." You're talking all of that. You're talking about your brother who just fell asleep while he was talking to you. But you're not wrong. Who is La Lesbiana?
My betrothed.
Yeah, the woman from Arles. That she's not even in the opera, I believe. They just talk about her all the time, right?
Which is funny.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. All right. So yes, of course, it relates to how you feel in your life about what has happened. I don't know the plot that well, but I do know exactly what happens right before you sing. So just important to know little things like that. Now let's get to the nerdy diction stuff, because that's what I'm so good at. You do some really beautiful double consonants, Marcus. Let me tell you what they're going to tell you in Italy about them. You always need to establish the vowel very, very clearly before you do the double consonant. I will tell you, I didn't write down which one it was. Lisa. It could have been any of them, I guess. Racconta, it might have been that one. Il povero ragazzo voleva raccontar. I don't remember where it was, something like that. It might have been that.
Yeah,
I feel like, because I think when, and I'm sure I'm guilty of this over the years as a coach, we're just always banging on people about their freaking double consonants. And they're important, obviously. But an Italian conductor will want, for instance, e sa dormi, really a lot of before you get to the double D. Just keep that in mind overall, because that's what the Italians, when you go to Italy, they're going to tell you that. The other thing, the word digio, I know it's kind of on a high note, I think. I can't find it.
Yes.
Perché digio tante gio, io.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you say de Gio. Now, the other thing is, this sort of is similar to what I talked about. I think you have a gorgeous voice, so I'm picking on you.
Thank
The same thing as before. There's some fuzziness like in that middle and lower middle, and then when you kind of get right on top of the staff, and it was on come in video, I felt like, wow, that slides right where it's supposed to go. So again, it's the same thing about what John Horton Murray said about bringing that down. And then I just want you to know, I wrote fucking good high B. Okay.
You know what?
Excellent work, though. Yes, what? I mean, I brought tears to my eyes, and that does not happen much, believe me, right, John Tanalia?
That is correct.
Good job. Did you have a question or something to say?
I've struggled on that B for the longest time.
Struggle no more, my darling. It's
and
lovely.
It's because I didn't have a reason to sing that B.
That's
and
right.
I found that reason.
Good.
And I brought it to you today.
And I really appreciate it. You have a huge talent. So I know I picked a lot on you and said a lot of stuff that maybe you didn't want to hear. I don't know, but I mean, you're enormously talented. I think that's why I decided to give you a hard time. But you're lovely. I mean, what a great voice you have. And good job.
I appreciate the pickiness because it makes me better.
There you go.
I appreciate
Okay.
you.
Good.
Thank you, Lisa. Can we go to Maestro John Horton Murray, please?
Okay, I've never seen this opera. I've heard the aria many times, so I have no idea what happens or anything. But the aria is very famous in concerts all the time. The trick about piano singing is that it's actually harder. On the big stage, we talk about how we just sing shades of forte. So it's really not that, like with mic singing, where you can go totally off the voice and you're just whispering. That's great for in a room or something, but for the stage. So to sing the more piano, La Solita Storia, it's like almost it needs more support, and I always think of it as being even more open. La Solita Storia. Because you don't want to go, hey, la sol. You don't want to bring your full voice, like if you think of the shades of the forte, you don't want to bring the dramatic shade. You want to go more towards the lyrical shade, of the forte that we're singing in with our projected voices. So to do that, you have to really aim even higher here in the form. We used to call it in us tenors when we got together, we call it the squillo. You want to get the voice in the squillo. I got that from Charles Anthony. But in any case, that's especially for the piano. That's where you want to aim the voice. Because if you aim down here, it's too dramatic. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still the same projection, you're using the same support and everything, but you're getting a little lighter sound. And then also, it's strange the way it almost needs a more support to sing it piano than to sing it forte. So that's the hard thing about singing these piano things, is that sure, in a room, you just go off the voice and you sing it kind of pop, like a pop singer. But on the big stage, you can't do that because in the 20th row, they're not hearing yet, So you have to get this very focused, bright sound that carries out there, but it sounds piano, So that's the trick of piano singing on the big stage, is that it really isn't piano. It's just that you're not bringing the full bore of your sounds that you could into it. And it's actually harder to go from to go to less. Actually, it takes almost like more focus and more support just to take the power out of that sound to do the, but also for this, because you're not up in the head voice yet. So for this stuff, you can actually aim it there and make it a little bit more air in the sound, and you can get that nice, confused, sad sound, that tenors have to have.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Maestro Murray, and thank you, everyone. Marcus, to sum up, I think, number one, you have a magnificent talent, and I wish you all the best, as everybody does here. We can all unmute now because we can say you're in great hands. Okay,
Great.
I don't have to say that, but you know that. I think I wish you all the success. You can contact any of us at any time if you have any questions. If there's anything that any of us can do for you, please just reach out. You have our emails, my cell. I can, anything that you need to know. I know that John and Gail are taking very good care, because he wouldn't be playing for you if he didn't believe in you. So, and thank you, Maestro.
Yes,
I
excellent.
greatly appreciate
Beautiful,
it.
beautiful playing.
Yes. Come on
Very,
in, John.
very,
let's
very
see it.
moving. The
How
Chileo
you
is
do-
gorgeous.
Hi, Gail. I know you were there too. Hi.
This is the best thing ever.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
you for
Thank
doing
you.
this. Thank you all.